Happy Tuesday. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Testimony Tuesday. And it is so great to see everyone popping on. I will jump that up in a second here. But thanks for popping on. It's Tuesday. It's almost 7 o'clock, and we have an amazing testimony for you tonight. Amazing, powerful, just gonna blow your mind testimony tonight. And I just thank you guys for jumping on. And as you are, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Hope Defined Me. Hope Defined Me was birthed from God when I went through breast cancer, and he gave me the name, and it became a Facebook page, it became a website, and it's actually become a ministry. Hope Defined Me, because your past does not define you. Hope defines you. Hope defined me. But from that came Testimony Tuesday. And it's almost a year now that we've been doing these wonderful testimonies with different people from different areas of life that have walked through different things. And it's amazing because God has us walk through things because he knows who we're going to run into in life that we're going to be able to help, come alongside of and help. Everything we go through is not wasted. A tear is not wasted. Everything, the pain, the anguish, everything we go through is not wasted. It is because we're going to be able to use it to help someone else. And that's what it's all about, is helping other people, loving one another, being kind. That's what this is all about. So it even says in Revelations 12:11 that they triumphed over him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. So it is so important that we speak out what God has done in our lives, because this Testimony Tuesday is God's platform. I'm just the facilitator. I am his obedient daughter. And tonight we have an amazing 2 guests tonight, which is super exciting. We have wonderful Kimberly. You might remember her from before. Kimberly DeCree is joining us with her wonderful son, Elijah Oliver, and he's 15 years old. Can you believe it? Wait till you hear his testimony at 15. Imagine what he's going to do with his life in the next 15 years. It's going to be amazing and crazy good. I know that. So welcome. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. I do have to say that I have my friend Karen in the background. She's my admin, and she'll be writing on the wall and Facebook and on Hope Defined Me's page, answering questions and things like that. So thank you, Karen, for helping me out. But welcome, guys. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing?
We're doing good.
Doing good. Well, yeah. Tell everybody, bring everyone up to speed. Kim, tell us a little bit about you, and then we'll bring Elijah, and he can tell us a little bit about him, and we'll roll.
Well, my name is Kimberly DeCree. I was born and raised in Bradenton, Florida. Currently, I am alongside a youth ministry called Soldiers for Christ. My husband and I, we are in leadership in that ministry. The Lord just birthed oils. He's having me make anointing oils now. So that started, I think, like 2 weeks ago. And I also have a healing ministry called One Touch Healing Ministry. And, we go to different locations, children's hospitals, parks, wherever the Lord sends me to go. And we go and we, pray for children and families. And so it's been good. I am married. I've been married for 2 years now. And yeah, so I'm just excited for, this stepping into this new season of my life, which the Lord has told me for a while now to be still, be still. So that's what I'm doing. So, I'm raising my son, and we got him in homeschooling now. So everything's going good.
Is it hard for you to be still? Because I know you're so energetic.
I am. Yes, it's very hard. It's very, very, very hard. Being still has never been a good quality of mine. I've always liked to be on the go. But in this season, this is what I'm supposed to do. So I'm being obedient to that. Trying to, at least. Yeah.
That's wonderful. And so your awesome son, Elijah, how are you? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us today. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself, and then we'll jump back over to Kim.
So my name is Elijah Oliver, and I'm 15 years old. I was born in Florida, but in the city of Tampa, and I've been living here for most of my life. And I went to Southeast High School, but now, like she said, I am homeschooled and still just trying to do the Lord's work and be obedient as much as I can, because I am a new believer and I have been rebirthed. I have been rebirthed. I'm newly rebirthed, so I'm still trying to get to the hang of things, but I think I'm doing really good. So yeah.
You are. You really are. You're a fine young man. Yeah, you're doing great. Yeah. So Kim, give a backstory on your life. Just a little synopsis for those that didn't see your live when you were you did your testimony. Just a little backstory, and then we can lead that into how Elijah's was.
Okay, so at a very young age, I was exposed to drugs and alcohol. My mom, she had been through a lot of things, growing up. Like, it started at a very young age with her. And from as far as I can remember, my mom, had always been very, 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 very suicidal. And, I watched that my whole life. My mom and my dad, I can't say my mom as much, but, it is what it is. Both of my parents used with me, starting at the age of 12. And so it was kind of normal, like, I thought that that's how it was supposed to be. I thought that that's what, parents did. Like, and it was more of like a friendship. It wasn't like, like a mom and daughter, like, relationship. It was like a friendship almost, it was, I'm sure some people would understand like what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But my grandmother raised my sister and I. And when I was 15, my sister and I, we went and lived with my mom. Well, when I was 16, I was kicked out of the house, and I went and I moved in with my sister, because my sister's 2.5 years older than me. So I've been on my own since I was 16 years old. So I pretty much had to, find my own way in life. Like, I really didn't have, a stable, like, home environment, to like teach me right from wrong. And so pretty much my whole life, like, I lived a very wild lifestyle. I was a partier. I stayed at the clubs. My friends worked there. So even at 18, I was getting in, I was able to drink there, and, and that's how I lived my life. I always lived my life on the edge, and so I was exposed to a lot at a very young age, and it followed me, throughout my life.
Yeah.
I was arrested in 2018. And I was charged with possession of cocaine, possession of marijuana, and paraphernalia. I spent 3 months in jail. My charges were dropped. And that's only God. I can say that's only God.
That's God.
And so yeah. And then after that, that happened in September of 2018, and I got out of jail in November of 2018. And then a year later, I went into His Girls Discipleship. I gave my life to the Lord. Now, he was with his dad. I hadn't seen my son for a year and 9 months. I hadn't talked to him. I hadn't seen him, nothing. And but when I gave my life to the Lord, because it's not that I didn't want to see him or talk to him. It was some things had happened, and I didn't want to face those things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was always one to like run away from problems instead of dealing with them.
Right.
So, but when I gave my life to the Lord, 30 days after that, I finally seen him again, and we've been great ever since. So again, that's nothing but God.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now,
Yeah.
Elijah, let me ask you, what was that like for you as a child growing up and seeing your mom with everything she was going through? Well, how did that affect you?
So when the time that she was gone during that year, I was living with my dad, like she said, and they kind of kept it real with me as much as possible because they wanted me, like, they didn't want to hide anything from me. So, they would, like, I found out that she had went to jail and she was using and stuff like that. And I really didn't know how to feel at first because, like, I never thought stuff like that would happen. So it was like a big load I had to take on. But, like, since it was a young age, like, it didn't affect me as if, like, I was, like, because, like, I didn't really, like, understand. So, but it did have a big effect on me. And it wasn't usual to not see my mom for that amount of time because, like, almost my whole life I lived with her. So I was definitely not used to it at all. And
You were 10, you were about 10 years old then when that was going on?
probably, yeah, like 9, 10, something like that. And like I said, it was just it was not a usual thing. And it was sad. I was definitely sad at times, but I was a little kid, so it didn't really, but it did take a big toll on my life.
Yeah, I bet it did. So then as time went on, then you became a teenager. So maybe fill us in a little bit about what life was like for you in those early teen years, like 12 and 13 kind of thing.
Those early teen years, I can't, they weren't, I wasn't living for God, so I can't say it was the way it should be. But, from what I remember, it wasn't nothing too bad. I was just a regular kid doing regular kid things, hanging out hanging out with my friends and, being the class clown and, just doing regular kid things. And, like, and then 7th grade, I got to 7th grade, and then when COVID hit, that was obviously a rough patch for everybody's life, so
Yeah.
I was, for the most part, I could say, like I said, I wasn't living for God, but I could say I was happy. I was happy. And, like I said, I was just living a kid's life, just doing what kids do,
And you were with your mom at that time then too, right?
No, she was still in his girls during COVID, and I was living with my dad, but I would go over there to his girls and see her every once in a while. And I was able to talk to her and stuff. So me and my mom, we were back together. So, and like, I would go to church with her sometimes, but I wasn't saved. So, but I still went to church with her sometimes because I wanted to see her, of course. And around, like I said, 7th grade, and I was like still living a regular kid's life. And then 8th grade, like the beginning and middle of it, like that's like I was still like hanging out with my friends, doing regular kid stuff because, like, my mom, she was a good example. So, like, I wasn't always around things I shouldn't have been. But toward the end of 8th grade, like, the older you get, the more things you get exposed to. And so, like, the kids at my school, like, they would like be smoking weed and like vaping and stuff and like doing all these bad things. And I would hear about it, but then, like, I would think in my mind, like, oh nah, like, I would never do that. Like, how could they do that? Like any kid would say, like, from my perspective, that's what I said. I can't speak for everybody, but that's what I was thinking. And some of my friends that I hung out, they started doing it. And, I was like at first I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I can't, like, that's bad for you. Like, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
And then the influence started happening. And I want to say, hold on, let me rewind. Let me go back to 7th grade, because now the Lord just put this on my mind. It actually started in 7th grade, but it wasn't for like a long time. It was like my friend, he was one of my closest friends, like ever since 7th grade. Like he was the one that like I always talked to. And he had a vape. And then like since I was his friend, I didn't want to be like, oh, it was like it wasn't like a peer pressure thing, but it was like a just go with it, because like that's your best friend.
Yeah,
So
you
I was,
fit in.
yeah,
Kind of thing.
yeah, I want to fit in. And so I was like, sure. And then like he gave it to me, and I took it home, and then like I had hit it, and then like I was like, I didn't know how to feel. And then I put it down for like a long time. I put it down for a long time. And back to 8th grade, like that's when the influence started to happen. And let me think. My stepmother, and because my dad and his girlfriend, which she's not really my stepmother because they're not married, but I'm gonna just call her that for now. And she smoked weed, and for what I knew at the time, she smoked weed, and she had a lot of marijuana products. And one time, like, she had left it out on the counter, and as a curious kid I picked it up. I tried it, and I don't want to say I became addicted, but I definitely, from speaking from the past, I can say I did enjoy it. And like, she was not a good example at all. She, like, my dad, like, they don't, it's not that they don't believe in God, but they don't live that life at all, like, in no type of way. So like they kind of with my mom, like they kind of just went with it because their parents did it. It was just the norm for them. So she was like, if you're smoking, you can tell me, like, it's okay. I just know, because I want to make sure you're not, what she say?
Getting it from people.
Yeah, she doesn't. Yeah, getting people on the streets. I want to give it to you. Like, I want to make sure, like, you're safe. Like, you're only doing it inside the house. And at the time, my thinking, I was like, yeah, okay, that's fine.
That's cool, right?
Like, in my mind, I was like, woo, like, And then so that went on for a while, and that this is like the end of 8th grade, and I started getting new friends because of the things I did. So I left like my old group of friends and started hanging out with friends that did the same thing as me, which was smoking and stuff like that. And my one friend, his name was Adam, and I went over to his house, and he had a whole bunch of stuff. And like I said before, I wanted to fit in, and I already kind of had like a feel this time. So I was like, of course I agreed, and stuff like that. And then
So he had stuff at the house, like, other things other than marijuana. Is that what you're saying?
oh, no, just marijuana. It was just
Okay.
marijuana.
Okay.
And then and then I kept it a secret with my dad and my mom, but only my stepmother knew, because she okayed it. So in my mind, I was like, okay, in my mind, I was like, she's an adult. If she's okaying it, it's okay, because she's an adult. So I'm like, but obviously I knew it wasn't right because I had to keep it a secret. But like I was thinking wrong. So, and then,
well, it was one adult that was on your side, so it was like, oh, it must be okay then. I got an adult on my side. Yeah.
And I was smoking for all the way up until when I graduated 8th grade. I went back to his house after my graduation. And then I texted him. I was like, I was like, can I come over, this and that? And then he was like, it was like a sleepover. And then so, and then we had a sleepover, and then like we were smoking, of course, and like I got very sick, like very, very sick. And then I stopped for like 2 months. Yeah, I think I stopped for 2 months.
Wow.
And so I was like, okay, I'm done. Like I don't want, like, it made me sick. Like I don't want to feel like that again. Like that sucked. And like um uh I had texted my stepmother, but she didn't, I don't know if she know I stopped or not, but like I would ask her, and like she, like I said, she would okay. And like I don't think I mentioned this, but we used to smoke together. So
So similar to what your mom had growing up, pretty much.
right. And then one day I texted her, I was like, it's been a few months, I feel like I was wondering if I could, like, if we could get together and smoke. And she didn't answer, and then I just forgot about it. And then I was like, okay, I shot my shot. It ain't, I'm just leave it alone.
Mhm.
And then like one day she called me in the room when my dad was out making like lunch, and she told me to shut the door and lock the door, and like she pulled out some weed, and she told me to hit it. And like that's when it got addictive. Like ever since then, like for the past, well, I don't want to fast forward. So I and then at first she would be my provider. I would ask her, she would give it to me. We would smoke together, or she would give it to me just to smoke by myself. It was like I said, it was like a mutual connection. Not, like I said, I thought it was okay because she's an adult, and
Did your dad know?
no, he did not know. So she kept it a secret from my dad, and I kept it a secret from my dad.
Mhm.
And eventually, and then the whole summer from when I graduated, like my 8th grade, from when I graduated 8th grade, and that whole summer I was smoking. And then all the way up until 9th grade, I was smoking. And then there was just one time in 9th grade where I had brought my weed to school.
Ooh.
And I wait, no, I didn't bring it. I went to the bathroom, and this kid this kid I knew, he had it. And like that's what we would do. We would go in the bathroom, and we would all meet up and see, just like it was like the bathroom was a meetup area in school to smoke. So
all ages in high school had that meetup, and I think so.
They most definitely do. And obviously, like I said, I caught on to that because so since I was new to high school, like I had to pick, and that was like one of the first things I picked up. So I was like, okay, this is the meetup spot. So if I can't get out home, sometimes I know I can go to the bathroom at school. So this one time I had go into the bathroom, and everybody in there, they were smoking, and, everybody in there, and administrator comes in. And so it happens out of everybody that's smoking, I get caught. And I get in trouble. And I get in trouble, and of course my parents get involved, and I could say it was definitely not good.
Right.
But
How did your
unfortunately,
grades do? I'm wondering, how were your grades through all that time?
my ninth grade year, I think, because I would always be under the influence of marijuana. Like it would like make me lazy, it would distract me, and like that obviously affected my grades. And I don't want to say like they were like all F's, but they were between like D's and F's. So they weren't that good. So it was affecting my school life. It was like, but I wasn't realizing that. I was just like, okay, this is fine as long as I'm good. That's all that matters. And
So when did you start to spiral downward? When did it really like start to just like take you into like the drain?
when I started high school, that's when, because that's when, like, from ninth grade to 12th grade, like all like it's all mixed together, and like so many different influences and different kids, and like so many different things you can be exposed to, and all the things like it's just like I could definitely say like when I got into ninth grade, that's when like stuff really started to go down for me in my life. So
That's crazy.
and um and then of course I got caught. My parents got involved. You know, they talked and they had a long talk. Mom got involved. My dad found out, and when my dad found out and all this got brought to the light, my stepmother, she tried to make it seem like she had no part of it and it was only me.
Oh,
So that obviously made me quite mad, and I snapped that day, and I ended up saying some things that I shouldn't have said, and I this was my first time, and because of that, I think that was my first time I had went with my. That was like the first time, because in ninth, wait, remember when I came to your house after we got in the argument? That was like my first time like coming and like.
Well, yeah, but we didn't go through that. Like, we don't want to keep rewinding. Yeah.
So, and then you know, but unfortunately that didn't stop me from still smoking. So in my mind, I was like, okay, I can't trust her no more. So I'm just smoke by myself and find out a way to get it myself. So you know, and then after that I had got caught, and then so at that point I just started relying on school to get it from school in the bathroom and stuff. And you know, the addictions kept on growing. The more and more like I did it, like the more I thought I needed it. Like I just kept on and kept on and kept on and kept on.
and so when you were doing this, I mean, that stuff's not free. Were you working?
Well, before, like I didn't get it. Like I would only smoke what my friends had. So like I would rely on them. Right. And then like at some point I got to the point where I was like I said, the addiction kept on growing and growing and growing. And so like I was like, okay, like I don't want to only do it at school. Like I need it for myself. Wow. And
he was out.
Okay. And then I think the first time I'm trying to think back. At first my friends started like giving me what they didn't want. Like if they had extra, like they would give it to me. I would take it home and I would keep it for myself. Right. And and then the addiction kept on growing and growing and growing. Mm-hmm. And it became not enough. So it just kept the addiction.
No, let me ask you, because I don't know, was it only marijuana or did you eventually start getting into other things?
Ninth grade, I started vaping and vaping nicotine. And but like it wasn't towards like, it was probably towards like, I want to say like the quarter end of ninth grade. And you know, which that nicotine is very addictive. So that got more like that, like, so I was carrying two addictions. So like the vapes weren't as like my big thing because like they didn't really do anything. Like they were just addictive. But the weed was what put me under the influence and changed my mindset. And, you know, I thought in my mind, like it made me relax, like it was peaceful, and, you know, what anybody would think when they smoke marijuana. And the addiction kept on growing, and I was like, okay, this isn't enough. And then I met my friend Wilbur in 8th grade. And then he was my friend all the way up until 9th grade. And he was like, he didn't do none of this. Like, he was like, I don't want to say innocent, but he didn't like none of what I was doing. So I was kind of like an influence on him. And like, eventually, as we started becoming closer, he started doing things that I was doing. And, but before I met him, like he vaped, but he stopped. And then like eventually he started doing it because I started doing it. And
But let me ask you a question though. When you were doing this, your mindset you said was changing, right? And your viewpoints and things were changing, and what you thought you were like, really mellow and cool with things, that's not your outward appearance to people. So at what point did you feel like you were no longer yourself, that you were just not who you used to be, and and then the thoughts started coming into your mind that that changed you even more?
so I want to say like the middle of ninth grade is when like I started like thinking of my like I wanted, because like I never got into like any like street activities, but like I would always think of like myself as like I was like hard or something. Like I would always like I would get into fights and stuff, and like I just wanted to fit in. Like I just wanted to be like everybody I saw in high school, because like I thought they were cool. I thought they were, and that really shifted my mindset, and like I could tell like I wasn't the person that I used to be.
Yeah.
And but like the influence, I was like, that stuff happens, that's life, you change. But without God, like you can't see, like without God to shine that light, and you're in that darkness, like it's 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 dark, and all that darkness is clouding your mind and dimming what really is right. And the lies of the enemy, just like I thought it was my own thoughts. This was before I was like educated on like before I started finding out about the Lord and what he could do and getting closer. So like I thought it was my own thoughts, and I didn't understand like the principalities and like the strongholds and the demon manifestations and the evil spirits and stuff like that. And I thought it was my own thoughts, and that like I was like almost my biggest enemy. Like I would tell my like, but it wasn't me. It was the enemy that was inside of my head that I thought it was myself. Like it really like messed with my head. Like, and like I became like very depressed and like very, I didn't notice my anxiety because like I would always smoke, so that would take it away. And but I didn't realize that was one of the reasons why I was doing it, because I was like I didn't think I was depressed, because like that's what the enemy would tell you, like you're not depressed, like you're fine, like all you need to do is just smoke your weed, you'll be okay. And so that's what I would think. I would be like, as long as I have my weed, I'm straight. Like I'm not depressed. I'm not none of that. And I ended up becoming depressed and at one point suicidal. And I would get these thoughts, and like my dad, like he's not a bad father, but he was going through like he went through some things in his life, so he doesn't know how to exactly come at the right way. So like when like he would like address me, it wouldn't be in the right way, and like he would like call me names and stuff, or like put me down, and like say like I never make him proud.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
Hurt me. He, that really like affected my mind, and like that's when the enemy came in. It was like your dad doesn't care about you, doesn't love you, like he doesn't, like he wouldn't even care if you were here or not, like all those lies. And I ended myself kind of, it was almost as a way as like I deserved it. So, and people would realize, like they would be like, "What's on your arm?" I just, like, oh, like I accidentally cut myself, or like defense and I sprayed myself, or because I wanted
when you were saying that you were cutting yourself and the video cut out, when did that start? Oh no. Let's go back in. All right, we're going to try to bring our guests back on here really quick. There they come. There you go. You got you there? Yeah, the screen was frozen. And so the screen was frozen. So then you were telling us about the lies of the enemy getting into your head, and then you started cutting yourself. And I wanted you to go on to that. Let me see here. There we go. Yeah, we're having streaming.
Okay, there we go.
Is it good?
Yeah,
There you go. Good job. Okay, so you had mentioned that about, you know, the lies of the enemy getting in your head, and then you started cutting yourself. When did that start? All right. I think we're frozen here. Hang on. There we go.
He's mad.
It ain't nothing but the devil.
That's right. Don't even give him no credit. Don't even give the devil no credit. Just call it what it is. Spectrum.
Hey, that's what we got too. So,
I know. I know. It make you crazy. It's okay. No. So talk about, when did the cutting start? Because that's when it cut you out. Oh, don't be freezing on me again. Well, then we'll go to a different subject. Maybe that's what it is. Come on, Kim.
Can you hear us?
Now I hear you. Yes.
Okay.
so it was when the summer after 8th grade, going into high school, where I started cutting myself, and I just felt very alone because of what my dad would tell me. Like, he would make me feel like worthless and like on the inside. So like the enemy, he would just tell me like, now like nobody would like, because at the time I wasn't like seeing my mom like on an every weekend basis like I usually did. So like she wasn't in my life to do what she's doing now. So, you know, just the lies of the enemy kept on getting into my head, and like making like, basically saying like, if I killed myself, like nobody would care, like life would just be better without me. So, you know, I fell into a very depressive hole in my life. And, you know, like people would ask me like, are you depressed? Are you suicidal? I would tell them no, because like I said, I thought I wasn't, because as long as I had my weed, I would be okay.
Right.
But that was another lie from the enemy. And
Mhm.
and obviously that was before I knew how the enemy's schemes work and how he prowls around like a lion and stuff like that. So
Right. And you know, also your battle's not with the flesh and blood. Your dad had his own demons that were, you know, getting into his head too.
right.
Yeah.
So I fell into a very depressive state of my life, and that kind of led to more and more of the addiction it gave the addiction more power and more of an excuse to do it, because of all these things I thought that would be healed and sealed up because of what I did. And, you know, I would always want to hang out with my friends because I thought that's where I found my comfort. And going on this more and more of 9th grade, you know, I was just like, I would get into fights. I would never do my schoolwork. Like I would smoke in the back of the class. Like it was like it was like the more and more like I just stopped caring. Like I just stopped caring. And like I wasn't aware of it. Like I just thought like I wasn't aware of it because I was always it was a mix of the enemy and me always being under the influence of the weed I smoked. And so like my mind was so clouded in darkness and I wasn't aware of it and the enemy was just having its way. And so like it became bad. And I but the thing I wasn't realizing is that the people around me have effect on me. And I didn't have a good example in the house that I was living in because I was living with my dad and not my mom. So I didn't realize that my stepmother allowed me to do it. It didn't help me. It just made it worse. So, and like my dad, he didn't want me to fall back into where he did because he did the same thing. He started smoking at a young age and, he drank at a young age and, his life isn't the best. It's not the worst, but it's not the best. So obviously as a father, a part of him did want to see me do good and not fall, be better than what he is. So, he would say stuff like that, but what he was dealing with, like, he was just going through a very dark time as well in his life, but I didn't see that. The enemy were just saying, like I said, like, he doesn't care about you. And, there's all these different lies just to keep me in the place I was. And like this went on for a long time. And I got caught again at school. And so my mom already knew what was up. And so it was a Tuesday that I got caught, which Tuesday is our deliverance ministry. It's our deliverance ministry nights. So,
thank you for being here.
of course. And fortunately for me and my sake and my mother, she took me to deliverance, and I knew what deliverance was, and it looked scary in my eyes because, obviously, like, people be like, they scream and stuff like that. So
explain a little bit for people watching that don't know what deliverance is. Explain what that is.
So the people that are watching and the people that don't know what deliverance is that deliverance is God setting you free from the strongholds and evil spirits and wickedness that you have inside of you, which is mainly it's mainly evil spirits and mainly strongholds that the enemy has placed on your life to keep you bound to his plan and keep you away from God. And so when you get deliverance, God delivers you from all that evilness and you get set free. That way, when you give your life to God, you can be set free and live the way he wants you to live fully. So
beautiful.
I got delivered. I went to deliverance and we was on the way, and I was very nervous. Like I was already starting to manifest on the way there. Like I was very, very nervous. Like my heart was beating, like I was sweating, like I was nervous. Cause like part of me, like with my eyes, like I saw, like it was kind of scary, and then I knew like something didn't feel right. I never felt that before. Like I never felt that way going to church, like ever. Like I never felt that anxious and scared. So I was like, oh, something isn't right. So I get there and, we have service, like we usually do. And then he calls everybody up for deliverance. And of course, me and my mother go up, and we sit in the front row, and he's going down the line. And as closer he's getting to me, my heart's starting to beat faster and faster and faster. So I'm just sitting still. Like, I'm just like, I'm super duper. So he's getting closer and closer to me. And then he comes to me. He doesn't come to me like how he came to everybody else. He starts talking to me first. And then so, he's like, what's going on? Like, how are you feeling? And like I told him the truth. I was like, I've been struggling with addiction and it's been affecting my life. And, you know, some the well, I didn't know what it was now, but the Holy Spirit placed it on my heart to tell the truth, because I never thought I would say anything like that to a person that I didn't know. Like, in my mind, I thought I would but like the Holy Spirit just led me to tell the truth at that moment. So I told him like everything. And he at first I was trying to avoid it. And then, like I said, the Holy Spirit came upon me. Like it just came out. And then so he started, and for anybody who wants to see this, if you look up John George Ministries, my video is on there. So if you guys want to see this, that it's on there. So he started praying, and I was just sitting there. I closed my eyes, I bowed my head, and like I started getting this like tingly feeling, and like my heart was starting to beat more faster and faster and faster and faster. And then he laid his hand on my head, and then the demon, the evil spirit, like it just like that, like struck it. And then like it completely took over, full manifest. And like it was just, what's the word? Radical. It was a very radical deliverance. Like chairs were being flipped, like everything. Like it was a lot. It was very radical. And it was like, what, for like an hour?
It was like two hours.
Like a 2-hour deliverance. In my mind, it was like 15 minutes because I wasn't there. I was manifesting, and like I got up, and like I felt something I never felt before. Like a whole load was taken off, and like I just get up, and like I just give everybody a hug, and like I just felt like I could breathe. Like it was just like this. And for like a week, like I was just on fire. Like I cut out like all secular music, and I was like putting all my friends on, and like I was letting them know like I got delivered, like Jesus is real. Like I was just on fire.
Yeah.
And like one of my friends named Abraham, he smoked as well. And I was telling him, like, I was just like, yo, like you gotta give your life to God, like, you gotta stop doing what you're doing. And then he was like, I don't know. I was like, you got to. And then he was like, think about it. You gave your life. This was the enemy using him to reel me back in.
Yeah.
He said that, think about it. If you don't let it consume your life, but you're still living for God, why can't you still smoke? And then so I was like, in my mind, I thought he was right, because it says to put God first. And so I thought, as long as I put God first in my life, and then let smoking come afterwards, then I'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I made my mistake. And I started smoking again. And I fell right back into that addiction.
Mm-hmm. And just like with the serpent in the garden said, every tree, are you sure? He said, every tree you can eat, but not that one. See, he puts the question in your mind, just like your Abraham friend did. He put that question in your mind. That's so the enemy right there.
Yeah.
Oh.
I fell right back into the addiction, and the depression got worse.
Oh
and
my.
the anxiety. And like I would stay in my room for like all day. Like I would keep myself isolated in my room. Like I would keep myself isolated, and I would only come around my friends that would smoke. And like it distracted me from like having a relationship. Like it affected my relationships with my dad's side of the family. Not so much of my mom's, because like all I really had was my mom. And because she was, at the time, she was the only one saved at the time. Well, except for my auntie, but she was doing her own thing. Like she was married and stuff. And so, and like I said, I fell right back into the addiction, and the depression got worse, and my life started to go more downhill. I started to, let me see. And it just kept on like spiraling. And going into 10th grade this year, over the summer, like I was doing not a lot of bad things, but I was never home, like ever. Like I was always out with my friend. And I got into this mindset of I could kind of do whatever I want to. And I had a bicycle, my friend didn't, and one day we decided to go steal one. And we got caught, and I ended up getting arrested. And it was, I think, a 3rd-degree felony. It was like, yeah, a 3rd-degree felony. I got my first felony at 14 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I was just sitting in that cell, and like life just hit me. Like I knew what I was doing was wrong. Like it was just like it really hit me, because I never thought in my life I would be sitting in a jail cell. Like that was never my goal, like ever. And it's kind of weird because like now that I'm looking back at it now, like God always had his hand on me. Like all the things that I shouldn't have been doing. And like I would think about it, and like it could have been way worse, but he knew what was going to happen, and he knew the plans that he had for me, and that's why he did what he did and brought me to where I am now. So I got arrested. I started 10th grade. Anxiety started to hit really bad. This is when I started like experience the most anxiety I ever felt in my life. Like this is because before, like I didn't grasp the full understanding of anxiety. And this is like when it really started to hit. And one night I was over at my mom's house for the weekend, and I had my weed, I had my vape, and I ran out of my weed. And that was my main thing. And like anxiety hit, and like it got so bad to the point where one morning for school, I was getting ready. Like I wasn't really sure what I was anxious and fearful about. Like my heart started racing, my stomach started hurting. It got so bad that I ended up throwing up because I was so anxious. And I didn't know what it was. Like it was just the enemy was tormenting me. Like I don't know, like the enemy felt like it had me. And I felt like that too. And like every single day I would have anxiety attacks. And one day before that I had my anxiety attack, like it got bad, like really bad. So I had to go to the hospital. And so I go to the hospital, and they tried to put me on medication, antidepressants and anti-anxiety medicine. And, at that point I was just trying anything that would help. And I was trying every resort but God. So I was like, okay. And then I took it for 2 days only. And I was like, okay, I don't want to take medication. So my mom was like, on Tuesday, we're going back to John's. And then at that point, I was like, anything that's going to help. Like I'll take any help, because it was really bad. Like it was really bad. Like I was like living like a whole week in just a pit of fear, like just straight fear of the unknown. And I go to deliverance, and another radical deliverance. And I go through deliverance like 5 times in that whole week, like maybe 6 times in that whole week. And the last time I got delivered is when my life just started skyrocketing with God. And like I had so much people around me to, like, I was just getting fed with the word. I was like church almost every single day, like every single day. And I was learning more about God, and what my life just started skyrocketing, like taking off like a rocket. And like the more and more I got to know God and got closer with God, like it was amazing. And one night, on a Friday night, I went to this conference with a very good woman that we know, and
Maggie.
We
her
love
name
Maggie.
and we went to one of her conferences, and she, she went about her word, and while I was there, I was just praying during worship, and I was like, I just told God, I lay it all down to you, I want to live for you, I lay it all down, I fully surrender, I surrender to you, I surrender to you. And since she is prophetic and the Lord speaks to her, she calls me up and she has me read Ezekiel. What was it? I think it was a chapter from Ezekiel where I think you might know is where I called you from your mother's womb. I called you by name from your mother's womb, and I set you apart. And that part from Ezekiel, and that really got pulled
Isaiah.
What I was it Isaiah?
Mm-hmm.
I think Isaiah, and she started prophesying to me, and she said a word over my life, and she said that I have the anointing of Elijah. And so happens my middle name is Elijah. And she said, from this day on, you are renamed in the spirit. And ever since then, I've been going by Elijah. And I've just been it's unfathomable how God, it's he's my best friend. I can talk to him it's, oh my goodness. And we go to John George's every Tuesday, and
I sent her the video.
I got so close with God to the point he started using me to deliver others and bring freedom to others. And for the past 3 weeks, I've been helping him in his deliverance ministry and deliver others that come. And that really that's when it really the power of God and what he can do through you, and it was amazing. It's amazing. I love it so much. Every Tuesday I'm hyped, actually, I'd be I'm ready to go stomp on, woof, it just be so good.
I love this, and I remember watching, looking at your mom's Facebook page, and I was telling your mom, I said, the difference in your face from before, to after your deliverance, to your total radical change is and I told your mom, I said, you can just see it in his face. Yeah. It's crazy, the difference. And it's so good. Now if somebody watching right now wanted to go to that deliverance, where is this?
It is located in
Sarasota.
It's located in Sarasota. He has his own church service at his house. And I don't know the exact address, but if you search up, like I mentioned earlier, John George Ministries,
okay.
You can contact him. You can he might have his address or he might have his location in his bio or somewhere in there, but if he doesn't, you can contact him and he can give you the information. You can talk to him and stuff. He's a great pastor, amazing pastor. He really I thank the Lord for him and the way the Lord used him to set me free. And he's a very big component in my life, and I have built a very strong relationship with him. And he's, like I said, he's an amazing person, amazing pastor. He's just an overall amazing, funny, humorous, great guy. And
that's awesome.
He really has taught me a lot. And
he's come alongside you, see?
Yeah.
He probably has his own testimony, and now he's come alongside you to help and speak life into you, which is excellent.
Right. Yeah. And I also want to give a shout out to my spiritual father, Cody Williams, that he's the leader of Soldiers for Christ, S4C, and he has been an amazing part of my life and my spiritual walk with God. And he has always, ever since I've got stuck, he's always been there for any type of questions and any support and love I need. And he's been a great spiritual father. So if Cody, you're watching this, I love you. I thank you so much. Nina, well, his whole family, they just have been, even from when I wasn't saved, they've just been such great people to me and my mother. And I just thank the Lord for them and how faithful they are to him and how obedient and how much they love the Lord. And they're just so good. So good to us.
That's wonderful. And that's what, we all need to come along other people and come alongside of us, and you'll be coming alongside other people too. God's going to put you in the path of other people that have going through or will go through what you've been through. So you'll be able to relate. Like, I know exactly where you're at. I know exactly what you're feeling and exactly what you're thinking. And that's how God works, which is wonderful. I know that, we heard in your testimony a lot of generational, you had Kim and yours and Elijah, you had in yours generational from your dad. Your dad did the best that he could with what he knew. And Kim, your parents did the best they could with what they knew. Your parents did their best they could, it's generational. So you learned a lot at a young age, Elijah. So that right there is a blessing.
It very much is. I thank the Lord for that. So
I wish, it's all God's plan, like all this, is a part of his plan, but it's like, I wish I would have had a Cody and Nina, when I was his age, to have been there, for that support, or even spiritual parents, spiritual leaders, like in general, that's why it's so important that we have to be parents first. We can't be our children's friends. We have to be parents first, because when we're not, those things grab us, and then we don't want to push our kids away because we want to do what we feel we're supposed to do. We don't want our kids to get drugs from the streets, but you're getting it from the streets. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. It's one of those things where everybody's being used by the enemy, but they can't see it for what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just one of those things. And I'm just honored that I can be in this space that I'm at today, because if I would have never been saved, I don't know, I probably wouldn't be here, and who knows where he would be. You know what I mean? Like this was all part of the plan. And Elijah is now living with me full time, and so
God's
great.
Good. Full circle, right? It all came full circle.
Yep.
God is so good like that. And when your sister poured into you, Kim, and thank God she did, when you in your testimony, when you were on your road to probably trying to kill yourself, and your sister stepped in, and the same thing for Elijah there too. I think you had somehow stepped in when he was getting ready to end it all. And Elijah, right now, think about it, if you had teenagers watching you right now, kids your age, that are feeling and going through all the same stuff that you're going through or went through, what would you say to them right now? Those that are feeling like they got nothing else to live for, that no one cares about them, no one would even miss them if they were gone. The lies. What would you say to them if they're listening to you right now?
So from my experience, what I could say to anybody that's feeling like that, I could most definitely say that it might seem hard because the situation that you're in, but there's no situation that's greater than God. So if you just call upon God, and you can't let God be your last resort. He has to be your first resort, because we can't live without God. We can't do nothing on our own. We have to rely on God, for the word says we cannot rely on our own understanding. So if we try to do things our way, we can't do it. So the lies from the enemy, you can't give in to those. So he's going to try every single possible way to make you feel a certain way, or keep you from people that are going to lead you the right way, and try to manipulate your mind to try to make it seem like they don't know what they're talking about, or they don't understand, but they do, because for in my situation, it was my mother that she stepped in, and she was saved, and she was knowledgeable with the word of God, and she had a relationship with the Lord, and she stepped in for me. So I encourage anybody that is going through that you just give your life to God, and just get freedom, get deliverance, pour yourself into God as much as he pours into you. And whether you notice it or whether you you ever felt it, or if you ever saw it, just know that he's always with you, and you're never alone in any time of your life. He's always with you. He loves you with all his heart. And if you give your life to him and you show him that you love him as much as he does, he will do amazing things for your life as much as he did for mine. So I really encourage that for anybody who is feeling the way I felt or is feeling any worse way than that. Just know that God is always with you and he loves you. Amen.
Amen. That was beautiful, Elijah. That's beautiful. And you know, there's people out there, some of them that don't even know God. And we both right now can attest to the fact that, you know, he's everywhere and he loves us. And so anyone out there that doesn't know him, all you got to do is say, okay, God, I'm here. Take me as I am. And he will take you as you are. And he will make you and mold you into something beautiful. He's always there for us. Always, always, never leaves us, never forsakes us.
Amen.
Yep.
Right? My goodness, what a powerful time we've had together. I am so thankful that you joined us this evening. Thank you, Elijah, and thank you, Kim. And
Yes.
anything else you want to add real quick before we end the broadcast?
You know, I just want to say that nobody is ever too far for God to reach. He's a big God and he can reach you wherever you are. You know, don't give in to temptation. Don't give in to those thoughts. Don't let the enemy keep you bound and keep you from the promises and the plans that God has from you. Because if we all knew and tapped in to what God has for each of us, he would have no room for anybody. And that's his plan. His plan is to kill, steal, and destroy. That's what the enemy does. But you're never too far gone for God to reach you. You're never too far gone for God to, oh, nobody would understand. Because there's people out there like us that would understand what you're going through, you know? So open up, you know, find somebody, find a local church, find, you know, somebody that you're comfortable with talking to, and seek help and seek God. Just seek God in general, because he will never leave us nor forsake us, and he is always there.
Always there. Always.
Yes.
He's right next to you. He is as close as a whisper. He's right there.
Amen.
You know, and anyone watching, feel free to reach out to Kimberly and reach out to him. You can get to Elijah and talk to him through Kimberly as well. I mean, seriously, if you've got any questions or concerns, or you just want to know more, you can reach out to both of them on Facebook, and I'll make sure that gets posted onto the page, how to contact them. But seriously, any one of us will be happy to talk with you and let you know all about God and Jesus and the love that they have for you. You're never too far gone, like Kim said. There is no pit so deep that God cannot reach in and grab you and pull you out. There is a way out. I know that suicide is desperate. It is a desperate act because you think you have absolutely nowhere to go. And that's the last thing you can do because for whatever reason, that's what you've been led to believe. But it's not the only way out. Jesus is the way out of that.
Yes.
He will always, always, always come through for you. He will never leave you, never forsake you. He was always by your side. He will fight your battles for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Thank you
Well,
guys so
so
much. No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Elijah, my pleasure. What a wonderful young man. And I am excited to see what the Lord does through you as you continue on this journey. You're only 15. Imagine what the next 15 years are going to look like. Just think about that. So we'll have a date 15 years from now. I'll have you guys back on, right? We'll look back and say, this is what we did the last 15 years. And we'll go, wow, or maybe we'll be up in heaven already because Jesus came back. Who knows? But we'll be partying and having a good time up there. But thank you guys so much. My pleasure, Elijah. What a blessing you are. What a blessing. And Kim, you already know I love you. You're amazing.
I love you too.
One of these days, I want to make it to Sarasota. I'll meet you guys down there.
Yes, absolutely. Have a good night, Miss Valerie.
My pleasure. Bye, guys. Thank you for
Bye-bye.
joining me. Bye-bye.
Yes, bye-bye.